All right. So popping in for our last segment, and let's talk about the winner from this weekend and Canelo Alvarez and where he stands to go from this. So to me, he's got plenty of options. So he's 168.
Does he?
I think so. I think so. We'll kind of get into that. So he's got everybody calling him out. So he's got Terrence Crawford, which I don't see that fight happening unless Terrence Crawford is going to go up three weight divisions.
Canelo has already shut it down. He shut it down last night after.
Yeah, but I don't think he gets credit. He'll get credit. And then there's the Mexican monster, as Tyson has affectionately named Benavidez. Then there's also the rematch that he's been chasing. Like I wasn't sure how much heart he had into it, but he seems kind of very fervent in his chase of the rematch against Bivol. And then like, does he want to re-enter himself back into that weight division?
Bivol's out of the question.
Well,
yeah, Bivol is 1,000,000% out of the question. Not an option. Bivol is signed to DAZN. And there's no way that they would do some sort of joint venture with DAZN at this point. With PBC and DAZN now.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
if the lights get shut off, if they get,
isn't there some rumblings about that? I mean,
but
there
is. It's already. But now y'all going to legalese. There's already a signed contract with Canelo and PBC for a 3-fight contract. So go ahead.
Yeah, but on what network though? What network?
It'll be so one. The rumors is if Showtime Boxing goes, Showtime Boxing pay-per-view stays.
Yes.
Canelo fights on Showtime pay-per-view. So the conversation we about to have is void.
Yeah. So Bivol, the options are the Andrade Benavidez winner. You've got
Morel.
Well, let's
Morel.
Everybody kind of hold your arguments because I would kind of agree. Like, Coach, let's start with Coach.
Sorry, yeah.
And then we'll kind of work our way around. So, Coach, what are your thoughts on this the next steps for Canelo Alvarez? So he says that he loves boxing. I think he's actually, is he older or younger than Charlo? I think
they're about the same age. I think they're exactly
they're about the same age. They're separated by 2 months, essentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, you know, money wise and all that stuff, you know, I would try to roll with definitely, you know, Benavidez if he's gonna try to fight this guy. You got Morel out there, you got Mbili, and you know, you got Cinco de Mayo coming up. I don't know, is God doggone it, Mexican dude, Jaime.
Oh, Jaime.
Yeah, Munguia is a 160-pounder, and he fights on DAZN.
Well, I mean, he fights at 168 though. He's fought at 168.
I don't know. Go ahead, Dave. Finish your point.
Yeah, I say Benavidez, Mbili, Morel. If he can get this, if something can happen with the Munguia guy, you know, dream stuff. However it will work out in terms of dreams for me, man, I'd love to see him and Crawford go at it, man.
Really?
Yeah, man, I would. Whatever weight, you know. And again, so I just gave you my show enough. Here's the 168-pounders. I think that this guy can go, and then I gave you my dream stuff with Crawford, man. Yeah. But Benavidez, but man, that would just be a true, beautiful. God, that'd be a beautiful fight.
So just before the other pundits weigh in, so this is, I mean, I'll give full disclosure. This is ESPN's kind of super middleweight rankings. So they have Canelo Alvarez 1, of course, David Benavidez 2. So we talked about that fight. Caleb Plant 3, he's already beat him. John Ryder 4, he's already beat him. David Morrell 5, even though he is only 9-0. We have Jaime Munguia, who is at 6 at 42-0.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Munguia is ranked above Demetrius Andrade at middleweight, even though Andrade is the man. Go ahead.
Yeah. Andre is scheduled to fight David Benavidez, so he's at 8. We have Carlos Gongora at 9, and then Zach Parker at 10, and then there's a Christian Mbili at 7. Go ahead.
Well, and Bealey's at. I thought you said, where's Munguia?
Munguia's at 6.
Where's Mbili at?
At 7.
And Bealey's at 7. Okay, because Mbili beat Gongora, and he just stopped Damon Nicholson. I don't know if y'all saw that fight. He beat the hell out of Damon Nicholson.
Yeah, ESPN be on bullshit, man. So
I don't think we should go off. They take too much.
Well, but hold on. Let's be fair. So, I mean, who you think the last win? Who had the better wins? The last wins. So, even though
Benavidez got the best.
No. Listen, I'm talking about between the 6 and 7. So, Jaime Munguia beat Sergey Derevyanchenko. And
Derevyanchenko has never fought at 168 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But Damon Nicholson is not even in the top 25.
Okay, that's fair. So Mbili shouldn't be up there either, but fine. But Munguia doesn't deserve to be anywhere close to a top 10, 168 pounder. That's crazy. He ain't fought nobody. Off a Derevyanchenko win?
I think the bigger argument is maybe Demetrius Andrade, but I mean, he's
whatever. I ain't gonna get too wrapped around the axle. Look, if Andrade beats Benavidez, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Canelo to make that fight, and I don't think he's gonna fight. I don't think he's gonna fight Demetrius. I don't think he's gonna fight. I don't think he's gonna fight Benavidez.
He just want payday.
Well, Charlo just wanted payday too. Charlo got a payday. How come Andrade can't get a payday?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. One is he was 14 pounds lighter. One, he's orthodox. That is pretty straightforward in the style.
Fine, fair enough. Those are all good points.
And the other one, he's got a bigger name than Andrade, I think.
Charlo does?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. There's something to that. And that's why I said, Ken, when you first said that, Canelo's got plenty of options, I don't know that he does, man. I don't know that he does. The fight that they want to make is this Benavidez fight. But from a strategic point of view, from a business standpoint, there's a train of thought that says you wait for the third fight of this deal, hoping that Benavidez gets the win, and then you force Canelo to renegotiate and bring him back for more fights, which is part of the reason why they didn't put Benavidez at the front of this 3-fight deal. There's that train of thought.
Well, I mean, it's definitely the risk, but listen, this past fight did a $20 million gate, but I think they could, and Cowboy Stadium, I think they can get 80 to 90,000 people in that stadium.
Okay, but here's the thing. You throw him in there against Andrade, a fight that they did not want to make. I have it on very good authority that they were really pushing for the Munguia fight. Almost to the point where they almost popped out.
I could see that being next because
No. They were trying to push for Benavidez Munguia instead of Benavidez Andrade.
Yes.
They were pushing for that fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk. I mean, if I was,
it's a huge risk.
If I was his manager, I would do the same thing. The thing is, I mean, I don't want to shit on Andrade, but it's like he's a tricky fighter and he makes ugly fights. Like I've never saw one of his fights and be like, man, I gotta watch that again. Like never. Ever.
Oh, I can direct you to a few fights, and despite
tell me his fight. I've seen most of his fights.
All right, go back there and watch that Willie Nelson fight that he fought. Go back and watch the Vanez Martirosyan fight. All those fights happened a long time ago.
Martirosyan.
Or you can go back and watch my man, the Irish dude who he almost tore his jaw off of his face. I mean, fans can continue to shit on
his fights are always the same, bro. He's gonna his first 3 or 4 rounds, he's gonna come out like a wrecking machine. And then after that, he just like he goes into a shell. And
no,
like,
that's not what happened against the Irish dude we fought. He knocked the dude out in like 3 rounds. Fans can continue to shit on Demetrius Andrade.
no, but I
guys
said
like us,
the first 4 rounds,
platforms,
he'll give it to you or whatnot. If usually he don't knock you out, but he might knock you out. But that Irish dude, I know who you're talking about. That dude was not a top level opponent.
I'm not saying he was a top level guy. You were saying his fights all go the same way, and I'm telling you his fights don't all go the same way. And I will say this: people on YouTube platforms, fans can continue to shit on this guy and make jokes and say what they want. Every single fighter, every single trainer in boxing knows that this dude is not to be fucked with. If he was this guy, this joke, this doo-doo Andrade, all that stuff, somebody would have beaten his ass and taken his belt years ago. Everybody in boxing knows that this guy is not to be fucked with. And if people think that David Benavidez is going to show up and walk through Demetrius Andrade, that's not.
I didn't say that. But the thing is, it's like this dude does not bring an audience with him, and so
fair enough. That's fair.
You thinking about that guy? This ain't an Andrade segment, so
you're right. But we talking about potential opponents though.
So my potential is based off what Canelo said. After the fight, he was more concentrated on the date than the opponent. So he's more which is tricky and which is interesting because, not to get off subject, because Dana White has already put out, he's saying that he's going to take Cinco de Mayo from boxing.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, nah, I'm fighting on Cinco de Mayo." He was like, "I don't care who the opponent is." So, in my opinion, based off like something that Jared said, which makes sense, is to me, I think they fluff up Big Melo for Cinco de Mayo, and then the winner of the Benavidez Andre fight in September.
As unfortunate as that would be, that is probably a very, very realistic course of action, and it's one that has to have been discussed by PBC at this point. And it's no coincidence at all that JerMALL CHARLO is going to be on this November undercard along with Benavidez and Andrade. There's no coincidence at all. November to Cinco de Mayo was what? It's November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 6 months. That's plenty of time for either of those guys.
And y'all got to understand it's a 3-fight PBC contract. Munguia out of the picture. You know what I'm saying? The only people that he has available is Morrell, Benavidez, Munguia. I mean, Morrell, Benavidez, Andrade, Charlo. Those are the 4 names.
It. Yeah, and Billy has some weird contractual obligations. He fought on ESPN last time out. I don't think that's viable. Plus, in Billy, that's a dangerous fucking fight.
So those are the 4 names, and 2 of them about to cancel out each other. So you
potentially. Remember, Danny Jacobs was still able to get a Canelo fight off of a Gennady Golovkin loss. Now, he didn't fight Canelo right after the loss, but he was able to put himself in position.
I'm talking about for next. But Benavidez was to beat Andrade, Charlo ain't gonna be like, I'm gonna fight Andrade next. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the world will be up or up.
Let's kind of back up because it's a lot of innuendo. So who's Charlo fighting in November?
Jose Benavidez Jr. The former welterweight, the guy who one-legged Benavidez
champion.
Yeah.
Not former welterweight champion. Benavidez was never a champion.
Yeah. But it hasn't been announced though.
It's been announced. It's
not on his box rec.
Fair enough. It's not on box rec, but I think it's as close to being a done deal as can be at this point. But fair enough. If it's not on box rec, it ain't on box rec. But it's pretty close to being a done deal from what is being reported out here in these YouTube streets.
But right? So y'all are saying that who is Canelo going to fight on September? In September,
Andrade fight.
Wait, September or May?
So we're talking about September because he said he wants to fight in September. On
No, May.
He got to. He got a 3-fight deal. So
well, he doesn't have to fight in September, but May.
he only fights
September.
on May. I'm going off of him. He only fights.
He said he wants to fight in
September.
September. He said he wants to fight in September. So that's who we're talking about. Who is he fighting next?
That's what he said. He said September. He's not fighting Cinco de Mayo.
He's gonna fight in May. He said he's fighting
Cinco de Mayo, but he fights twice a year. He fights Mexican Independence Day, September, and then he fights on Cinco de Mayo.
But May comes before September. Why are you asking about September? Cam.
Well, because he said he wanted to fight in September. Well, I mean, I'm tripping. Yeah, May. I mean,
that's
I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm tripping.
May it'll be Big Charlo, and then September it'll be the winner of Benavidez Andrade.
What a joke that would be if they roll out. Oh my God, what a fucking joke that would be.
It ain't you ain't listening. You ain't listening to the man. It ain't about the fight and the legacy. It's about just the performance at Cinco de Mayo. He gonna get 50 million regardless.
Dog,
I don't know about that.
What
I don't care what he's gonna make.
If the contract is already signed, what are you talking about, Cam?
I'm just saying, how crazy would that be to roll out Charlo after, let's say Charlo goes in there and he beats up Jose Benavidez, a guy who has started his career at like 135 or 140 or something like that. He goes and beats up Jose Benavidez with one leg and he gets a Charlo fight. And guys like Morrell have been sitting around for 2 years now in the mandatory position. Benavidez is just sitting around for. Andrade has been chasing him for his whole career through multiple weight.
You think his last 2 fights on PBC he gonna fight Benavidez and then Morrell, or Morrell then?
No, I don't know. I like I said, Randy, I'm saying this now. I'm agreeing with you that it is very feasible, but I'm just thinking out loud here, like, how do you spin that? How do you come out there and justify that to people? This guy that's been sitting around for 2 years, he hasn't fought in 2 years. He fights some blown up welterweight and he gets a Canelo Alvarez fight. Like, how do you sell that to people?
And it is confirmed that Jose Benavidez on November the 25th.
So I tell you what's going to confirm it. Once Charlo fights Benavidez, if he doesn't call out Plant right after that fight, is Canelo is going to be Canelo fight. I promise you. If he doesn't call out Plant right in the ring right after he wins, then that tells you he's going to fight Canelo next.
Especially if Andrade goes out there and he beats Benavidez's ass. Canelo ain't getting in there with goddamn. That would just reaffirm in his mind is like, nah, I ain't fighting this dude.
I think
he's gonna fight the dude. That's what I think.
You think he's gonna make it?
Benavidez?
So he's gonna make him, whoever the winner of the Benavidez Andrade fight, gonna have to fight Morrell too, and then he'll fight those.
I think Morrell is in the Phantom Zone with next to Boots Ennis. Those guys.
The guy has 9 fights, man. I don't think he's on the radar.
If he got more than 9 fights,
he got low fights, but
doesn't he have more than 9 fights?
I think he got.
He's still a champ though. He got a record.
I mean,
guy has 9 fights. He's not, and then he's not Lomachenko, but I don't think he's gonna listen. The guy is a tricky Cuban type young fight. I don't think that, and it's like he doesn't like David Benavidez has a name and has a following. I think he's gonna do that. I don't. I believe he's gonna do that fight.
Why do you think that? What in Canelo's history has led you to believe he's gonna fight the most dangerous guy at the height of their career, in their peak? When has Canelo Alvarez ever done that?
He fought B-Ball when nobody really
kind of wanted to fight B-Ball. He didn't have to. He wanted to.
He wanted to fight B-Ball because he thought he could go in there and do what he normally does and get a gift decision. And he almost did. Despite losing every single round of that fight, arguably. 2 of those judges still found 5 rounds to give to him. So he almost gambled correctly. Bivol is just that much better than him. right? If he really wanted to fight the most dangerous guy, they'd have found a way to make the Better BF fight, because Better BF is the most dangerous guy at 175 pounds. But he didn't want them problems. And to be fair, it's a tricky fight to make because Better BF is an ESPN fighter. So when you get that out there, right? It was not the easiest fight to make because of Better BF's contractual obligation.
So the argument is on Canelo's resume right now. So this
What makes you think
this guy fought? He fought Danny Jacobs. He fought Triple G.
Catchweight.
He fought
36-year-old. Yeah, past his prime.
He fought Lara.
Triple
He fought
G.
Austin Trout.
Lara, good fight. Trout also a good fight.
I mean,
although Trout, I would argue stylistically is a very favorable matchup for him. Lara fight, that was a tough out. I did not expect him to win. I don't think he did win. That was a tough ass fight. Especially that version of Lara. That was prime Lara. He deserves 1000% credit for Lara. And even the Jacobs fight, even though they had to twist his arm to make that Jacobs fight, he didn't want to fight Jacobs. And they made Jacobs agree to a catch weight also. Now, rehydration clause. I'm sorry. Rehydration clause. But he did fight Jacobs. Yep.
So Cam, my argument is the contract signed. If I know I'm making $50 million per fight for a 3-fight deal.
Randy, are you sure? Are you seeing that in black and white that he's making 50 million?
It was
he's making that up.
It's I'm making it up, but I'm just saying.
I say that's a lot of money, man. So let's make sure our listeners are clear.
Next week we can go ahead and just drop the numbers. But I'm saying it's up there. He's never fought less than like 40 million. So and then like the contract.
Yeah, he has. How much he make for the Yildirim fight or for John Ryder? He didn't
like within the last 5 years.
Yildirim and Ryder were all in the last 5 years. He didn't make 50 million or 40 million to fight Yildirim.
So he turned down the 2-fight deal for like what was it, 100 something?
It was over that. It was over that.
So he turned that down and then swung back the block. So that if he turned that down, it's going to take him a lot to sign this one. So it was a 3-fight deal. So I'm just speculating that it's like 50 million per fight. And my argument is that if it's already inked in how much I'm going to make, who cares who I fucking fight? My legacy is submitted.
He don't want to lose. He does not.
That's why I'm arguing against Cam.
Because if he loses, there's no way he's going to make that same amount for the next fight as he did because he's no longer an undisputed champion. Right,
but
he can't make. There's no way he makes the same amount. He booked
the 3 fights, so even if he got to retire at the end with a loss at the 3rd fight, then you know what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, Randy, is that just because you are contractually obligated to fight 3 times, that doesn't mean that what you're supposed to make your guaranteed purse is also.
So that strengthened my argument also. So that makes the second fight. So if you contractually obligated to make this money, the second fight is a gamble. Why not just make that? He already said, I want to do it on May because he knows the biggest fucking day for boxing for Mexicans in the United States. So he's going to make that. So he's going to fight Charlo or somebody equivalent. And then maybe in September is going to be a dangerous fight, but I don't see May being a dangerous fight and September being a dangerous fight.
Because what's it called? These events still cost a tremendous amount of money to put on. And despite the fact that they're getting kicked out the door here, PBC, you still have to go through the trouble of marketing and selling these fights. These fights, the parent company still wants to profit, right? I just don't see a JerMALL CHARLO fight as being a profitable fight. Maybe 3 years ago, there would have been a lot of interest for that fight. But I just don't see it. And I know I agreed with you.
There's been no speculation around it. There's been no
boxed in with 4 people. They're going to be a PBC fighter. You agree with that, right?
But Cam, just to be clear, JerMALL did come out and say that JerMALL was the one that was supposed to get the fight. That is out there.
Yeah, we know that, but like he missed the boat. So
JerMALL has been an option. He was on the table.
I'm talking about now. I'm talking about right now. JerMALL was supposed to be the opponent. The guy
Yes.
didn't have
Off
it.
a 2-year layoff.
Exactly. You know, that's prime. You know, lions like to go after, even though Canelo, I'm saying, is the lion, they like to go after the kind of wounded prey. But his trainer said that he is looking at David Benavidez and then Dimitri Bivol as the next fight. But I mean, that's just talk. We haven't seen that come to fruition. But I think
Yeah,
that
didn't his trainer say he
I
wanted
think
beat all right after his loss?
Say what?
Didn't his trainer say he wanted the rematch with B-Ball right after the loss to B-Ball? So I don't take what he say.
B-Ball's not an option. It's just contractually.
It's a PBC contract. So it's the 4 people that we named. So pick your 4. And one of them about to get crossed out because 2 of them fighting.
Yeah.
And then y'all by process of elimination, y'all already said he don't want none of David Morrell. So that's 2 people. So now there's 2 people left.
There ain't a lot of options. Dave, who you put
or Charlo?
Dave, who you put Canelo in there with? You Canelo's people, and Andrade beats Benavidez. What do? You go after Andrade? Do you go after Terrence Crawford? Or do you try to do this JerMALL CHARLO fight?
Man, well, whoever said that, I don't know if I would do the Charlo fight, man. I don't know if I would do the Charlo fight. I think JerMALL CHARLO would be the easier fight, to be honest with you. And then Andrade. But I would probably just, for the money and stuff, if Andrade beats Benavidez, then I would absolutely go for Andrade. You know, Andrade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think Andrade gonna even come close to beating Benavidez, bro.
Okay.
So first 4, I know we went all around the world, but I'm going back to Benavidez. You know, maybe Andrade, but I think I don't think that fight is gonna be able to be avoided much longer, especially if David beats this boy, and if he stops him, Andrade, I don't think it's gonna be tough to escape Benavidez.
There's gonna be a lot of pressure on Canelo to fight Benavidez.
A lot of pressure. So I'm hoping for a knockout, to be honest with you, with Benavidez putting Andrade to sleep, because then that fight's gonna happen, man.
I still don't say, even if it does, I still don't say it happens until September.
That's fine. That's fine. That if this boy beat Andrade and he stops him, it's gonna be hard for Canelo to run.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Munguia on Cinco de Mayo and then Mexican Independence Day, Benavidez.
Yeah.
Munguia fights on the zone.
Well, I think things are gonna change up a little bit. We'll see.
But the contract's already. So Cameron, I guess you like the point that we're trying to say is, like, even if you read through or listen to all the pundits or other pundits or listen to things, Showtime is going to stop Showtime boxing, but the Showtime pay-per-view stays. Canelo fights on Showtime pay-per-view. So, you know what I'm saying? That means he's not going to go to a DAZN fight when he's already under contract with PBC and Showtime to fight on Showtime pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, there's cross-promotional things. So there's never been a cross-promotional fight. Y'all acting like this is a novel idea.
Of course there has been, Cam, but those have been few and far between in the history of the sport, and they're tremendously difficult to pull off.
We just promoters
we seen two this year. Like cross-promotion
this year.
I know, but Cam, in the history of pay-per-view boxing,
cross-promotional, both sides bring something.
Have you seen? They're not the norm.
Listen, like cross-promotional, both sides bring something. What the fuck do Munguia bring to a fight?
He bring fans. He bring Mexicans.
He's Mexican. He brings fans. He's a low.
He don't fight.
He will sell out a stadium.
Come on, man. He fight in Guadalajara. I'm talking about United States. pay-per-view gates. He's not doing it. Don't come on.
Who
else at 168 is doing that? What are you talking about? So you said Andrade? Like what does Andrade bring? Like when has he ever filled out a 10,000
Cameron, you crossing venue? Cameron, the argument was for a cross-promotional fight.
No, what I'm saying, you asked like what they bringing. You asked what they bringing. We just told you what he's bringing. This guy is Mexican. He has a whole nation behind him. You saying when Gia isn't like ravenously popular?
Pull up the history of cross-promotional fights and what each side brought to the table.
You're talking about massive fights. You're talking about massive fights.
Massive fights. Munguia is not on that level. You can't say what is Charlo bringing because Charlo is fighting on that side of the street. So he don't have to bring nothing.
They couldn't even pull off Munguia.
I don't think like y'all are giving Charlo hasn't been in the ring in 2 years. This guy is dealing with problems and stuff like that. We just saw we were just in Vegas. We saw his wifey girlfriend fighting his
brother. You bring it in.
So y'all are just what I'm saying. This guy. What I'm saying is like
things that don't have nothing to do with this argument.
It does because y'all are thinking that he's just gonna get into this ring. Y'all are assuming he's gonna win this fight and then he's gonna make it into this ring. I don't think he's gonna get into the ring.
That's what happened with JerMALL. JerMALL had been off 16 months.
But JerMALL was
off a hand
at 154.
And at 154.
But listen, but why did JerMALL have to do that? Because his brother's mind wasn't right and able to get into the ring. So it's like, listen, so his brother. So hold on.
So you proving our point. You proving our point.
So listen.
And two, you mad at the wrong person because Canelo came into the contract with PBC with one of those two on the legend.
But
so Canelo,
I know. So but he's already fought one of them. So listen. So the guy who this has been the fight he's been chasing his whole time and all that, and they came to him and said, "Yo, this is the fight. You got an opportunity," and he decided to I'm gonna give it to my brother. So just think what kind of mental state that you got to be in to do that.
I mean, people get mental problems. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
Yeah, and remember that JerMALL CHARLO
is important, bro.
He's supposed to fight in November. It's not like he would have been off for 3 years and then he gets to fight in May. He's gonna fight Jose Benavidez in November, so he will have made his return. So
yeah, and then they're gonna sell that to the boxing public, like, yeah.
That's what I was just saying. You heard
watch your brother, and we're doing that. I don't think that fight is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not debating that it's crazy. I'm with you on
that.
Wait
a minute. Didn't the Garcia do the same thing? Didn't he step out for mental health problems? And then they had the biggest fucking pay-per-view in the world with
yeah, but
I don't know if it was the biggest pay-per-view in the world.
I mean, top 5. it made a lot of fucking money.
But one thing
ain't that the same? But that ain't the same thing.
He was.
I don't think it's the exact.
It's not the same thing. He wasn't out for 2 years, and then he didn't have the biggest fight that of his career. But this guy's been chasing Canelo.
You saying Tank? You saying the Tank Davis fight ain't the biggest fight of Garcia's career?
You didn't let me finish, and then turn it down.
Oh, you talking about Ryan Garcia?
So how come he didn't fight this fight? So how come JerMALL didn't fight this fight?
Because he wasn't ready, Cam. He said he wasn't. You guys been sitting around for 2 years. You guys said he wasn't ready.
Like people, I applied.
I guess that's what he said.
He got mental health issues. We didn't. So
now they saw. So now
Garcia was able to bounce back. Why can't y'all give the same?
Well, we been knew they was soft. We saw Jarrett Hurd smack these fools around. We seen Caleb Plant smack the nigga in the face. They ain't soft now.
I'm saying, like, Brandy, we were just in Vegas. We just saw this dude get slapped in his face by Caleb Pratt. We just saw his wife get drugged around and stuff like that.
He's saying that he
saw his mental health issue. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what have you seen? What do you know that I don't know?
That sounds like the perfect
fight now.
the
He
perfect
told the world
opponent
he
for
got
Canelo
mental health
Alvarez.
issues. He worked himself out. God
No, but
damn,
bro,
what
like
before?
he was a perfect opponent a week ago or this weekend. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, Garcia got a chance to bounce back and did a 1.2
I'm not
million pay-per-view after his mental health issues.
like, why do you keep bringing that up?
Why
Like,
you shitting on Charlo
I
when he
don't
can't
say
get
that.
his?
We've gone a
bring that
little
up.
bit off the rails here. How long are we into this segment now? That's well over 15 minutes.
It's well over 15 minutes, so we should definitely do it.
Shit. Yeah. Well, so I guess what suffice it to say, yeah, I know Cam, you saying Munguia. I think that against all odds, JerMALL CHARLO, Andrade, Benavidez are your three options.
Your fourth option.
And Morrell is a distant. As much as I would like to see David Morrell get that shot, and as much as I think that fight is very, very profitable, you do a David Morrell versus Canelo Alvarez fight in Miami. Canelo Alvarez has fought in Miami before. Morrell is Spanish speaking. Morrell gonna talk shit. You take the leash off David Morrell, he's gonna talk shit. That is a fight that the Hispanic community, who are the people who actually put money into the sport, who buy pay-per-views and shit like that, that is a fight that you can sell. I know that there are people out there who think that that fight is a joke, that doesn't make sense. I think that if promoted correctly, that is a fight that has the potential to make just as much sense as the Caleb Plant fight, as the JerMALL CHARLO fight, as the Dimitri Bivol fight, as the Avni Yildirim fight, as the Callum Smith fight. All those fights, I think that fight has every bit of potential to make. That's David Morrell, Canelo Alvarez. I know that is that fight is a distant fourth option. But if weird shit starts happening, Andrade wins, JerMALL CHARLO wins, or JerMALL CHARLO loses, Terrence Crawford opts to fight JerMALL CHARLO or Tim Tszyu, your options for Canelo Alvarez become very, very limited. And he don't want to fight. He don't want to fight Andrade. He don't want to fight him. I think he would rather take his chances with a 9-fight or 10-fight David Morrell than fight a guy with hundreds of fucking amateur fights, who fights with like 19 different styles of kung fu. And so it's this shit, all the things that Cam says. It's fighting that guy who brings no fan base, by the way, much as I love the guy to death. Him and his family, all great people. He brings nothing to the table financially.
Yeah, but listen, if he does a number on Benavidez and maybe drops him or even stops him, then that will get people on there. But
not Canelo. It's gonna make
him run.
Yeah. No, it's like you said, Cam. He the guy's just, yeah. It's tough. He's a tough out.
But y'all still talking September. I say maybe it's gonna be a cupcake. It's whatever cupcake.
Man, I'm great, man. I hope not. I
whatever cupcake got. The easiest out of all of the four is gonna be made for May. That fight gonna be the bigger fight, and that's gonna be the last one of the contract.
I don't think JerMALL's gonna get into the ring with him. I think that y'all are just prescribing. We don't even know what the guy's been at. I'm telling you, I think they will make something happen. Even though it's cross promotion, I think they'll make something happen with Munguia. And we don't know like how this kind of, we'll see with that. But that will be my prediction. We'll come back to this tape once that fight is announced or made. All right, with that said, we went a little bit over this segment, but it's a lot of content that we got to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. Coach, you want to end with anything? You on mute.
Is he awake?
Coach, you on mute. You on mute.
You on mute, bro.
Man, this guy. His old man shit. You're still on mute, Dave.
That old man shit, boy. Remember we used to spar, boy. I still got it, boy. Don't get no.
Yeah, I know you do. I know it now. He right. Yeah, he do.
He put them hands on you.
I heard everything, man, and I heard everything, brother. But I think it's I think it's gonna be a cupcake. Randy was right. I think the Munguia stuff was right too. I heard it all, brother. But that him being Mexican, he brings a lot to the table. I was just sitting back listening at y'all cats, man. But I close out with saying, Charlo, I'm done with him.
Yeah.
I'm done with him. I'm gonna close out with that. I'm done with him, bro.
Man.
All right, Kajaran, you want to end anything?
Man, it was. Hope we see some good fights coming up, man. It started this year started as a banger, but it's starting to fizzle out, man. So hope we get some towards the end of the year, man.
All right, Boston Jared.
Yeah, Canelo Alvarez does not get any credit for this win this weekend. I didn't give Errol Spence credit for the Mikey Garcia win.
Right.
I didn't give Tank Davis credit for the Leo Santa Cruz win.
Oh wow, really?
I don't know about that.
And historically speaking, I'm gonna go way back. Historically speaking, Carlos Monzon did not get credit for the Jose Napoles win. You know, Jose Napoles was a guy who was marauding all through 147. A guy who started off at like 135, 140 pounds. Napoles moves up and fights Monzon in Paris, February 1975. And Monzon had not looked good his last two fights. Monzon steamrolls Jose Napoles, a guy who was a pound for pound guy at the time. Yeah. And based off the historical records, based off the articles I've read, nobody was over the moon with Monzon. It was a fight that knowledgeable, reasonable fans expected him to win. He won. Everybody moved on. It wasn't some sort of career-defining, legacy-defining fight for Monzon. And this fight, this fight for Canelo Alvarez shouldn't be that either.
Oh, it's definitely not. It's I don't think so. But particularly if it would have been a fight where his opponent had really kind of showed something, but to me, it was a very expensive sparring session, as one of the reporters talked about. Because to me, that's what it looked like, and like that's what it reminded me of. Like, just let Canelo get in some work or whatnot.
I'm surprised you didn't say Lomachenko Rigondeaux.
Another one. There we go. That's even better one. Yeah, because Rigo went up 2 weight classes, right? Rigo went up 2 weight classes. Napoles went up. Yeah. Napoles went up from 147 to 160, so that was 2 weight classes. Yeah. Another one. Yeah.
So I will say this, that I'm not trying to. I was disappointed in JerMALL CHARLO's performance. He was the one who was holding it down. I'm still not sold on. First, I don't see how JerMALL is going to fight Jose Benavidez Jr. at what are they fighting at? Are they fighting at 160, 168?
They're fighting at 160. Yeah. They're gonna put quarters in Jose Benavidez's pockets on the lands to help him make weight.
So then that's gonna convince the public that he deserves a fight with Canelo Alvarez.
Nah, you don't need to convince the public. All you gotta do is just give the public. It's like showing up at the food line at the homeless shelter. You don't gotta convince people at the homeless shelter to eat the food.
Because
you hungry?
You got to remember, like, there's going to be casual fans who are going to be like, yo, he just fought this guy, and we just watched this fight. You got to, like, we know the difference. You know, you switch out the E for the A or whatnot. But remember, there's going to be casual fans that are going to be like, I'm not watching that fight again. Like, no. It's the brother who's the twin, who's bigger, but is actually in a lesser of a state. You know, and other stuff like
they would have already convinced the public to watch Crawford Spence too. So they'll have plenty of practice in getting people to watch fights that where the outcome is everyone feels like they know the outcome already. So maybe the Errol Spence Crawford too. They'll have practice.
Oh, so yeah, so we're gonna be just chomping at the bit to get more of these Mitch matches in the ring.
No.
I don't, but like I say, I don't see it, but I would love to be proved wrong or whatnot. I just don't see, I don't see JerMALL. He needs to fight a top flight super middleweight if he's gonna think that's gonna prepare him for this fight or to convince the public, and needs to beat them convincingly. But with that said, we're gonna go ahead and sign out. This has been very kind of energetic. I think we've kind of missed the back and forth.
Right.
But with that said, this is your boy Professor Nim. I'm signing out for Boston Jared, the Casual Rand, and Coach Dave.
Rope.
All right.
Hey. All right, man.
Peace out.